In part 1 of the Portland, Oregon UFO incident, we heard Richard's story and a few police officers and military personnel testimonies corroborating what Richard, and many others in Portland had seen that day. Now we will hear from a few more individuals that were there and had similar stories to tell. And a warning to all the world's leaders that would take the time to listen. Unexplained flying discs. Memorandum for the officer in charge. 1. At 6:05 p.m. on July 4, 1947, a radio alarm was issued via the Portland City Police radio advising all cars and officers that there were fast-flying unidentified objects over Portland and the surrounding area. Upon contacting the radio dispatcher, this agent was advised that Kenneth A. McDowell, patrolman, Oregon, on duty at Precinct 1 Portland City Police, Southeast 10th Avenue, had called in advising the dispatcher of the flying objects. 2. This agent interviewed Officer McDowell, who stated at approximately 6:05 p.m. on July 4, 1947, he was on duty at Precinct 1, and was in the back parking lot of the police station feeding the pigeons. At this time the pigeons became very excited over something and fluttered into the air all at once. Officer McDowell stated in looking around to see what had disturbed them, he saw 5 large discs in the air to the east of Portland and 2 discs flying south and 3 flying in an easterly direction. Officer McDowell stated he could determine no color to the discs, but advised they were dipping down then up while oscillating and were traveling at great speed. He was unable to give an estimate of the speed or altitude of the discs as they were out of sight before any detailed observation could be laid. Officer McDowell advised he notified dispatch over the police radio, who immediately broadcast an alert. Officer McDowell advised he saw no indication of any motivating force or heard any sound coming from the discs, and could give no description other than round. 3. This agent interviewed Sergeant Claude Cross, Oregon State Police officer on duty at Precinct No. 1. Cross stated upon hearing the radio alert he went outside and upon looking in a southerly direction he saw 3 discs, following each other at an undetermined altitude and at a terrific speed heading in a northwesterly direction. Cross advised he noticed a whitish-brown glint to these objects as the sun reflected off them. Cross was unable to give any other description, nor could he judge the object's speed or altitude. No sound was made by the objects. 4. This agent interviewed patrolman, Portland City Department, and residing at 124 Southeast 13th Avenue, Portland, Oregon. Patterson advises he was a former Air Corps pilot during the war. He stated that at the time the radio alert sounded, he was at Southeast 82nd and Foster Road, Portland, and upon getting out of his car he saw 1 disc flying in a southwesterly direction over Portland. Patterson advised this disc was aluminum in color, left no vapor trail or smoke trail and was traveling at a terrific speed, faster than he has ever seen any flying object before. Patterson further advised, although not knowing the exact size of the object it is difficult to determine the altitude. He estimates its altitude at 30,000 feet. Patterson then further advised that the flying disc was definitely some type of aircraft, but he could not give any further description as its speed made observation difficult. He heard no sound emitted by the flying object. Keith A. Sorensen. August 5, 1947, Omaha, Nebraska. Dear Redacted, I wish to acknowledge receipt of your letter postmarked July 10, 1947, together with its enclosure. Inasmuch of the information which you furnished is of interest to the War Department, I have taken the liberty of furnishing it to that agency for their consideration. Sincerely yours, John Edgar Hoover, Director. Office Memorandum. United States Government. August 12, 1947. To Director, FBI. From SAC, Milwaukee. Subject, Flying Disc Sabotage. References made to Bureau Bulletin No. 42, Series 1947, dated July 30, 1947. Section B, which advises that all reports concerning flying discs should be investigated by field officers. Prior to the receipt of these instructions, 2 instances were called to the attention of this office concerning flying discs. One report was received July 7, 1947, the details of which are set forth in Milwaukee letter to the Bureau dated July 8, 1947, entitled, Flying Discs or Saucers, Miscellaneous, telephone call from Mr. Fletcher at the Bureau at 8:30 a.m., the 7th of July 47. No investigation was conducted concerning this report. The second report was received by this office at 1:20 p.m. July 11, 1947, from Redacted, who is in charge of the Civil Air Patrol of Wisconsin, an auxiliary of the Army Air Forces. On that occasion, Redacted, calling from Black River Falls, Wisconsin, telephonically advised this office that an object in the shape of a disc, 19 inches in diameter, had been found July 10, 1947, by one, Redacted, city electrician on the Jackson County Fairgrounds, near Black River Falls, Wisconsin, about 3:30 p.m. The disc might be made of a substance such as cardboard covered by a silver airplane dope material. The contraption has a small wooden tail, like a rudder in the back, and inside of the disc is what appears to be an ROA photoelectric cell or tube. Also inside the disc is a little electric motor with a shaft running to the center of the disc. At one end of the shaft is a very small propeller. In Redacted opinion, that contraption might possibly have been made by some juvenile. Redacted stated that he desired to return the contraption to Milwaukee and eventually turn it over to the Army Air Forces, but that the finder, Redacted, apparently wanted to get some publicity on his find and wanted it returned to him. This information was telephonically called to the attention of Assistant Director D.M. Ladd of the Bureau on July 11, 1947. Subsequently, SAC H.X. Johnson telephoned Colonel Redacted, in charge of counterintelligence, 5th Army, Chicago AC of SG-2 Headquarters 5th Army, East Hyde Park Avenue, Chicago, Illinois, who stated he would contact Redacted, of Black River Falls, Wisconsin. No further investigation was conducted in this matter. Copies destroyed. November 18, 1964. The Round Robin. The Flying Roll. San Diego, California, July 8, 1947. For your information. Memorandum of Importance. This memorandum is respectfully addressed to certain scientists of distinction and to important aeronautical and military authorities, to a number of public officials and to a few publications. The writer has little expectation that anything of importance will be accomplished by this gesture. The mere fact that the data herein were obtained by so-called supernormal means is probably sufficient to ensure its disregard by nearly all the persons addressed. Nevertheless, it seems a public duty to make it available. The present writer has several university degrees and was formerly a university department head. A very serious situation may develop at any time with regard to the flying saucers. If one of those should be attacked, the attacking plane will almost certainly be destroyed. In the public mind, this might create near panic and international suspicion. The principal data concerning these craft is now at hand and must be offered, no matter how fantastic and unintelligible it may seem to minds not previously instructed in thinking of this type. 1. Part of the discs carry crews, others are under remote control. 2. Their mission is peaceful. The visitors contemplate settling on this planet. 3. These visitors are human-like but much larger in size. Hold on just 1 minute there. How does the government know what they look like, or how big they are? 4. They are not excarnate Earth people, but come from their own world. 5. They do not come from any planet, as we use the word, but from an etheric planet which interpenetrates with our own and is not perceptible to us. 6. The bodies of the visitors, and the craft also, automatically materialize on entering the vibratory rate of our dense matter. CP reports. 7. The disks possess a type of radiation energy, or a ray, which will easily disintegrate any attacking ship. They re-enter the etheric at will, and so simply disappear from our vision, without a trace. 8. The region from which they come is not the astral plane, but corresponds to the locus or talas. Students of esoteric matters will understand these terms. 9. They probably cannot be reached by radio, but probably can be by radar if a signal system can be devised for that apparatus. WO give information and warning, and can do no more. Let the newcomers be treated with every kindness. Unless the discs are withdrawn, a future begins with which our culture and science are incapable of dealing with. A heavy responsibility rests upon the few in authority who are able to understand the matter. Addendum: the locus are oval shape, fluted length oval with a heat-resisting metal or alloy not yet known to man. The front portion contains the controls, the middle portion contains a laboratory, and the rear contains armament, which consists essentially of a powerful radiation ray energy weapons apparatus. With that, we come to the end of the Portland incident, where I for one, truly believe Richard and everyone else in Portland did experience a close encounter of the first kind, CE1. And what do you guys think of that document explaining they were going to start settling our planet? And the cherry on top is they stated what they look like. So stay tuned for episode 3. This series only gets better and crazier with every episode. Please consider liking, subscribing, and commenting down below. It really helps our channel. So thank you, and I hope you enjoyed episode 2 of Declassified Aliens, the Alien Settlement Agreement.